Is where Premier Doug Ford is giving an update. We know 260 new cases in that province. Let's listen in.
On the advice of the Chief Medical Officer of Health, we were the first province in Canada to close schools. That early action was critical in fighting the spread of COVID-19. Our medical experts are telling us that the next 2 weeks are absolutely critical for Ontario. What we do today will determine what we face tomorrow. That's why we extended the declaration of emergency for another 2 weeks. This includes extending closures of non-essential workplaces, restricting public gatherings of more than 5 people. Effective immediately, we've extended the order to close publicly funded schools until at least May the 1st, for teachers, and May the 4th for students. We've also extended the closure of private schools and child care centres for another 2 weeks. As I've told you before, the situation continues to change day by day, hour by hour. And in order to protect our children, I'm prepared to extend these closures even further if we have to. As I said yesterday, every week, every day, every hour, we can push back the surge on our hospitals is another week, day, hour of precious time to prepare. The more time we have, the more lives we can save. If we push that surge as far away from today as possible, we will save lives. Yesterday, we put in place a new emergency order to close all outdoor recreational amenities, including beaches, sports fields, playgrounds, and picnic areas. Everyone needs to stay home. This is absolutely critical. We can't stop COVID-19 without your full support. Please stay at home. Only go out for what you need. Don't gather in groups. Practice physical distancing. Stay in touch with loved ones by phone, and wash your hands. This is how you can help save lives. I know these extended closures will make things difficult for families. We're doing everything we can to support parents during this difficult time. We've introduced job protective leave, suspended time of use, hydro rates, and we're putting $200 for every child under 12 and every child with special needs, $250 back in the pockets of families. And I know, as a parent, nothing is more important than the education of our children. That's why we'll continue to support families who are doing their part to stay home and slow the spread of COVID-19. We're working closely with the school boards to find ways to help students complete the school year, so they can advance to the next year and earn credits and graduate. We're easing the financial burden on university and college students and their families by providing a 6-month grace period through the Ontario Student Assistance Program. These new measures will help students continue their studies and get their diploma. We'll get through this for our students, for families, and for seniors, for everyone. And we will succeed thanks to the outstanding efforts of our many Ontario heroes. This isn't about our government. We have an army behind us, an army of 14.5 million people, the hardworking people of this great province. That's what keeps me going day in and day out. That's how I know we will get through this. The frontline healthcare workers coming in day after day, the businesses and workers who are stepping up, keeping vital parts of our economy going, and retooling to make essential supplies right here in Ontario. The teachers going above and beyond to keep students learning. And most of all, every single person out there that are taking our advice, staying home and doing their part. We all need to be rowing in the same direction, and together we will get through this. Thank you, and God bless the people of Ontario. I'll hand it over to Minister Lecce.
Good afternoon, everyone. Bonjour tout le monde. As the Premier made clear, we will do whatever it takes to keep students and staff safe from COVID-19. And based on the most recent advice from Dr. David Williams and the COVID-19 command table, our government confirmed that publicly funded schools will remain closed until May 4th. We're taking the next steps to provide continued learning for our children by unveiling a new teacher-led program that will keep students learning while at home. Nous veillons à ce que les élèves continuent d'apprendre tout en comptant
sure that
sur des soutiens
students continue to learn with the support that we will offer
The
them.
second phase of Learn at Home creates some predictability for our parents, our students, and our educators. We're providing expectations that parents can count on. We're enhancing support for students. We're ensuring the teacher-student relationship is restored throughout this period of school closure. Our aim is to provide all of them with some sense of stability and hope amid this difficulty. These are extraordinary times. We're moving quickly with two aims in mind. The first, to keep your child safe, and the second is to keep them engaged in learning. And I know nothing about this situation is ideal. And we recognize the difficulty that parents will face as we go forward. This pandemic has perhaps made the case so clear. We must come together, harness our collective energy, and put our efforts forward to improve the situation of every child and keep them safe from COVID-19. And we are with you, providing the guidance, the resources, and the support to ensure you get through this. Today, the Premier announced the next phase of our ambitious plan to keep students engaged in learning. With phase 2 of Learn at Home, we're laying out a new set of expectations that parents and students can count on, including first and foremost about reconnecting students with teachers and other school staff, including mental health workers, something parents and families have called on. We're ensuring the reestablishment of teacher-led learning with specific expectations for students and teachers by grade. We're requiring final report cards for all students from kindergarten to grade 12, meaning this material will be graded by your teacher with the appropriate flexibility built in as we respond to this unprecedented challenge. Students can and will continue to complete credits underway. This is especially important for senior level students. We're also prioritizing students scheduled to graduate and supporting students on their track to graduate. We're leveraging digital resources. We're embracing all forms of student-teacher connectivity based on the student's access to technology, meaning one way or another, by printed materials or tablet, every child should and will be able to continue learning through the curriculum supported by their teacher. We've also developed a training program for educators to support them in virtual learning delivery. It's clear we have to strengthen the capacities of some educators using online tools. Many do this already, and they do it well. Now our aim is to ensure all teachers have that professional development to improve for their kids. We recognize the importance of ensuring all children can learn and get ahead through this period. And we're working hard to bridge those gaps to ensure that no child falls behind. In partnership with boards of education, we're distributing laptops or devices from schools as needed. And at the ministry level, we're working with telecommunication partners through the Ontario Together portal to leverage the ingenuity and support to get technology to those that need it. We're also ensuring students with special education needs get the support they rightfully deserve. These parents are truly working so hard to support their children at home. And I want them to know that we recognize this difficulty. And that is why we are providing additional parent supports and guidance for you. Moreover, we're working hard to immediately activate the education assistants and other professional staff to support these children and their families and their educators. We know that a lot of these supports are designed for in-person instruction, but we will do whatever it takes to help your child, even if it means untraditional methods of delivery. We will never lose sight of those kids, today or into the future. We also know that mental health challenges are real, facing many students, especially anxiety and confusion about what this all means to them and to their future. We're actively supporting Kids Helpful and encouraging kids to reach out and to text the word CONNECT to 686868 right now if you're in need. We're also working to immediately unleash the full supports of mental health professionals, including psychologists and psychotherapists, social workers, to start connecting with students in a secure manner. You know, folks, the summary of this plan is that we will do whatever it takes, moving at lightning speed to give your child the education they deserve. We're doing this in partnership with directors and chairs and trustees and administrators and school boards, in partnership with teachers and worker unions, and with you, the parent. We're all in this together, and it will require all of us to work together for the good of our students, because these are unprecedented times. We are approaching the continuity of learning through an iterative lens. If we can protect some of the school year, should it be safe, then our instinct is to do so. If we can salvage part of the year for in-school instruction, of course following the advice of Ontario's Chief Medical Officer of Health, then we will. Our aim is to be flexible to respond to the fluid reality of COVID. However, make no mistake, only if it is safe. If it is not, and Dr. Williams recommends a further extension, then we will do so as we have done in the past. Before I turn it over to Minister Romano, I want to speak to the students in grade 11 and 12, those who look to graduate in the months or even the year ahead. To those students watching and to their parents, we will do whatever it takes to ensure you graduate, full stop. And I'll continue to work with my colleague, Minister Romano, to ensure that there will be no barriers to accessing post-secondary pathways. We have your back, and we want you to succeed. Finally, I want to give a shout out to the entire school community for rallying our frontline workers, rallying behind our frontline workers. Boards from Toronto to Halton to Upper Grand have donated significant amounts of resources and equipment to support the government and local health authorities to counter COVID-19. Thank you for our partners for your continued collaboration. This is the spirit of Ontario. It's a reflection of the deep held values of Ontarians, to be generous, to be grateful, and to be optimistic. We will overcome this challenge, and we'll do so together. Now, one of the partners in this ministry is working with Minister Romano, who's a father and parent who wants all of our children from elementary to post-secondary to succeed. With that, I'll turn it over to my colleague, Ross Romano.